Downgraded meeting and questions about the future of negotiations. A summit on Ukraine in London, with the participation of the heads of diplomacy of the coalition states supporting Kyiv, has been cancelled. Instead, working meetings of delegations are to be held. In the meantime, Washington has issued ultimatums to Russia and Ukraine. While Kyiv is ready for concrete talks, the Kremlin still has not officially agreed to the Americans' proposals. According to unofficial information, Ukraine's territorial concessions are at stake, but also its full independence, including military. Odessa, Kharkiv, Marhanets, another massive Russian attack. At least 9 people were killed, more than a dozen were wounded. Kyiv wants an immediate ceasefire. This is a basic condition for opening direct talks with Moscow. If the Russians are ready for a complete ceasefire, we are ready for any format of negotiations with them, any format. This is what the Ukrainian delegation is to discuss in London. A summit of countries in the coalition supporting Kyiv in its war with Russia was to be held there today, with the U.S. Secretary of State at ministerial level. However, the summit was canceled, officially for logistical reasons.
General Kellogg is there. And so he will be having those conversations. So we look forward to hearing back from him about whether or not we've had some success in London.
That success is supposed to be convincing Kyiv of the American peace proposal. According to unofficial information, the problematic issue is that of Crimea, which, according to the proposal, Ukraine would formally relinquish. Ukraine does not legally recognize the occupation of Crimea. There is nothing to talk about. It is beyond our constitution. This is our territory, the territory of the people of Ukraine. We can't just say, why not? It seems to me that we have already stated this with regard to any other occupied territory, and I have stated it as president, and the Constitution of Ukraine declares it by its existence. Russia, on the other hand, has the biggest problem with Ukrainian independence, both the open road to the European Union and the unlimited possibility of expanding the army. On top of that, the Kremlin is also unwilling to agree to the presence of Western stabilization forces in Ukraine.
We've really tried to understand things from the perspective of both the Ukrainians and the Russians. What do Ukrainians care the most about? What do the Russians care the most about? And I think that we've put together a very fair proposal. We're going to see if the Europeans, the Russians, and the Ukrainians are ultimately able to get this thing over the finish line.
The Americans have given a clear ultimatum in the face of Russian lies and attempts to prolong negotiations indefinitely. Washington may pull out of the talks altogether. Hence, it seems that the downgrading of the London summit sends a clear message to all sides. I think America is the real leader. We want them to participate. We want them to put pressure on Russia, but we are ready to answer for our words. If tomorrow the Russians are ready not only for a ceasefire, and if they actually cease fire, we are ready to sit down for talks and move on to other steps to end the war, if at least something is actually done and not just said. The Ukrainians know that without U.S. support, they have no chance of holding the front. Russia, on the other hand, is facing growing economic problems. It seems that for both sides, there will be no better time for a ceasefire, but there will be no winners either.